Hi and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Good to have you with us. Today we're talking about something that a lot of people experience but often feel guilty about: what to do when you can only practice English once a week.
Yeah. There's this idea that you have to study every single day to make real progress. But let's be honest, not everyone has that kind of time. And that doesn't mean you're not serious about learning.
Absolutely. Life is full: work, family, mental health, responsibilities. If English only fits into your week once, that time still counts. And we want to help you make the most of it.
Right? One powerful way to use that one day a week is to focus on active engagement. So instead of just passively watching a video or reading something, make yourself a part of the conversation.
Exactly. For example, if you're watching a short video or listening to a podcast, pause and repeat what you hear. Mimic the pronunciation, the rhythm. Don't just listen, speak along with it.
And write something too. Even a 5-line journal entry, or a quick message to yourself in English. If you only have a short window, aim for balance: listening, speaking, writing. That variety strengthens your brain's connections to the language.
And here's something most people forget: reflection is part of practice. After your weekly session, think about what you learned, what was difficult, what new words stuck with you. That mental review actually reinforces the learning.
Yes. And let's also talk about how mindset plays a role. When you can only learn once a week, it's easy to feel like you're not a real learner. But that's just not true. You're still showing up, and showing up matters.
It's not about how often you learn. It's about how intentionally you learn. One focused session a week can be more effective than 7 distracted ones. Quality over quantity, always.
And if that one session becomes a peaceful routine, maybe Sunday mornings with your notebook and a podcast, you'll start to look forward to it. That motivation builds consistency in its own way.
Yeah, and even if your weekly session is just 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes of growth. And the cool thing is, the brain doesn't forget that kind of attention. When you come back the next week, you're not starting from zero, you're building on something.
Definitely. It's like planting a tree. You don't water it every 5 minutes, you give it what it needs, and you trust the process. That's the same with your English. Trust that what you're doing is enough right now.
Also, don't underestimate the power of light review during the week. Like, just glancing at your notes while you're waiting for your tea to brew, or whispering a few English phrases while you brush your teeth. It's passive, but it helps keep things alive.
And if you're someone who likes tech, you can record yourself speaking during your one big practice day, and then replay it in the background throughout the week. You get used to the sound of your own English, and that builds confidence.
That's such a good idea. You kind of become your own teacher, your own cheerleader. And even though you're technically only sitting down to study once a week, your brain is still tuning in at other times. It's still active in the background.
Exactly. You're creating a relationship with English, not just checking off a box. And relationships grow through consistency, even if it's just small, but meaningful contact.
And honestly, I think it's better to accept your reality and work with it than to keep pressuring yourself with some ideal schedule that doesn't fit your life. That pressure just makes you want to avoid it altogether.
Yeah. We all go through seasons. Some months are busy, some years are chaotic. But learning once a week, during those times, isn't failure, it's strength. It means you didn't give up.
And maybe that one day a week becomes your sacred little window. Like, your time. You know, where it's just you and your goals. No pressure, just focus. That kind of space is powerful, it makes the language feel personal.
Yeah, and you start to look forward to it. It becomes less about, I have to study, and more like, I get to spend time with English today. That mindset shift is massive.
It really is. And here's the thing, there's no golden rule that says learning has to be every day or for hours at a time. Some people burn out trying to do too much. One intentional session a week can take you further than 7 rushed ones.
Absolutely. Especially if you're present, focused, and kind to yourself while doing it. The quality of your attention matters so much more than the quantity of minutes.
And hey, some of the best learners I know started with just that, 1 session a week. They built slowly, but they built solidly. And now, years later, they are fluent, confident, and still enjoying the process.
So if you're listening right now and your schedule only lets you meet English once a week, don't feel behind. You're still in the game. You're still becoming someone who speaks English. And that matters.
Yeah, and honestly, when you only have 1 chance a week, you start to treat that time differently. You plan for it a bit more. Maybe you prepare a little playlist or choose a podcast in advance, maybe you write down a few things you want to talk about out loud. That bit of intention adds so much value.
Exactly. It's like prepping for a cozy date with your English brain. And the cool thing is, you don't need fancy materials or perfect grammar for it. You just need to show up, speak a little, listen a little, maybe even write a quick journal entry. It counts. It all counts.
And it stays with you. Like, your brain doesn't forget just because you're not studying every day. If anything, sometimes that space between sessions lets ideas settle more deeply. You have time to absorb and reflect, without rushing.
Yeah, I love that. And sometimes, during your non-English days, you start noticing English in your environment more. Signs, song lyrics, words on products. It becomes this quiet companion in the background of your life, and that builds a natural connection to it.
Exactly. English doesn't disappear between sessions. It's like a language quietly waiting for you when you're ready again. No judgment, no stress. Just there, ready for you to say hello.
And honestly, I think that kind of relationship with a language is so much healthier. Like, it's not built on guilt. It's built on choice. You're choosing to keep showing up, even when life is full and messy and loud. That's real dedication.
Totally. And it's way more sustainable long term. We don't need to treat English like a chore or a deadline. If once a week is what fits into your life with care and intention, then that's more than enough to grow.
Yeah, and growth doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. You look back in 6 months and realize, wow, I know more than I thought. I'm understanding things I used to skip. I'm saying things I used to avoid.
And that moment, when you notice your own progress, even just a small shift, that's gold. That's your brain saying, hey, I'm still in this with you. You don't need a perfect schedule for that. Just honesty, consistency, and a bit of heart.
Exactly. So don't let anyone make you feel like you're not doing enough. If you're showing up in the way that works for your life, that's brave. That's worthy. And it's taking you forward, even if the steps are quiet.
And you know what else? Those small, quiet steps, they are the ones that actually stay. The things you learned during that one weekly session, they somehow stick longer because you gave them space. You weren't cramming, you were living with the language.
Yes. It's like when you hear a phrase during your practice time, and then days later it just pops into your mind while you're doing the dishes or walking to the shop. That kind of recall is powerful, and it only happens when we stop forcing things and let learning feel natural.
Exactly. I mean, life already has so many demands. English doesn't have to be another pressure. It can be a soft place, a creative place, even a kind place where you just get to express yourself in a new way, even if it's just for a few minutes.
And that's something worth protecting. That time, even if it's once a week, can be your little moment to connect with yourself in a different voice. No rush, no performance, just real, human learning.
Honestly, I think the people who learn this way, slowly, steadily, with heart, they are the ones who actually end up with the strongest connection to the language. Because it's not about proving anything. It's about belonging with it.
And that's the message we really want to leave you with today. Learning English doesn't have to happen every day, or in perfect conditions. If once a week is what you have, make it count, and know that it's enough. You're still moving forward.
Exactly. You're not behind. You're not doing it wrong. You're just living real life, and still finding room to grow. That's powerful.
Thanks so much for spending your time with us today. This has been the British Accent Podcast, and we're always cheering you on, no matter what your learning journey looks like.
Take care, keep showing up in your own way, and remember, even small steps in English are still steps forward.